Say Kaporet. Someone yesterday almost said that he was asked to open up the ark, and he opened up the Kaporet before he took out the Sefer Torah. And we said gently, thank you, it's the same letters as Parochet. But when you go to the ark, you're not opening up the Kaporet, you're opening up the Parochet. Even though it's the same letters, but in inverse order. Same letters. So here, the Kaporet, together apparently with the Cherubim. You know, when you learn Torah, you need protection. You need protection. You need mental protection. You need physical protection. You have to know how to go about learning Torah, making an objective to learn and absorb Torah and have Torah make an impact. You need guardians. You need safeguards. What to do when you're learning Torah, what not to do when you're learning Torah. What to not get involved with, what yes to get involved with. Who to approach and who not to approach. The Torah needs shmirah, protection. The protection, Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch explains here in his commentary, that the Cherubim and the Kaporet, they're the guardians. They're protecting, right? The Kaporet is a cover over the ark. Do you remember what happened in Gan Eden after God created man?
Yes.
What did he appoint? That there had to be guardians. Okay? There had to be guardians on the area of Eitz HaChaim. So too here, Torah and mitzvot need protection and guardians. Okay? And someone that's going to be protecting the Torah, he's the shomer. And he's really protecting the honor of God, because the Torah is the honor of Hashem. So we have a lovely protection called Kaporet, made out of gold. It has the exact dimensions of the Aron, as far as length and width is concerned. And upon it are these Cherubim. And we're asking, what are Cherubim and why are there two? So there are basic 3 approaches, if not 4, to explain what did the Cherubim look like. As far as Rashi is concerned, do you see Rashi in Pasuk Yud Chet? What does he hold? What does Rashi hold? What do the Cherubim look like? Partzuf Tinok. It has the formation of like a baby. That is the Cherubim. Cherubim. What do you think could be symbolic of? That it looks like a tinok. Innocence. Beautiful. Tumimut. Okay? We start teaching our children at a young age. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. When they go to the Talmud Torah, the first day we have a ceremony, we bring some honey and we put some honey on the Torah, on the book of the Torah, and let the kids put it in their mouth and taste the sweetness of Torah as a baby, and that has sweetness, okay? And you can't wait until the age of 13 to say, would you like to learn some Torah? No, I don't want to. You have to start at a young age. Maybe they'll be very connected, some more connected, some less connected, but there has to be a chibur, a connection to Torah. Maybe the innocence of a baby. A second approach is the Rashbam. Rashbam, the grandson of Rashi, he says that the Cherubim look like birds, ofot, birds. If they're a wing expansion, it makes sense. Maybe the Torah can uplift us. Often our lives are full of the material, the physical, and we need something to uplift us. The Cherubim, having wings, can give us an idea that we have to launch our lives to spring forward and never ever be idle. Never ever settle for the level we're on. Just like a bird can go higher and higher, and therefore it looks like ofot. A third approach, maybe some of you heard, according to the Rambam, it's brought by the Kliyakar, one of the great later Rishonim, and he says that the Cherubim look like angels.
How does an angel look like?
I don't know. Only what is the idea here? The Rambam writes in the Moreh Nevuchim, in the Guide to the Perplexed, in book 3, chapter 45, The Cherubim are bringing home an important message, an important principle, that there is prophecy in the Jewish people. The Cherubim are resembling angels. When God appears to his prophets, it's often via his malachim. Some of the places in the Torah we see it, other places we don't see. We see in the Tanakh that God appears in prophecy to man of Israel through angels. And therefore, the Rambam, Maimonides writes, and the Kli Yakar brings it, that the figure of the face of the Cherubim look like angels in order to insert the idea that God brings prophecy. And remember, that's what we opened up our shur yesterday. What is the ultimate purpose of the Mishkan according to the Ramban? Everyone knows apparently, so no one's answering. What do we say the ultimate principle of the Mishkan is according to the Ramban? To continue the Sinai revelation. That's the ultimate purpose. That's the first purpose. Again, you weren't feeling one, maybe so you weren't here. Rambam says the purpose is to bring sacrifices. Ramban says no, it's for what? It's for what?
Continuation.
For the continuation of the Sinai revelation. How? Prophecy. God will speak to Moshe through the Cherubim. It'll come down straight through the Cherubim. And this goes in line with what the Kli Yakar is saying. Yes, Mr. Adler.
So what we learned yesterday with the Ransom issue of Tzavei Hoshea is that there's a fourth approach, apparently, that they looked like a Egelim. The Cherubim looked like an Egel, winged Egel, basically, like a winged calf. So, all right. So I'm not sure.
And therefore they did Chet Egel, because
exactly.
it looked like
Also like obviously what's it called? No. It's a Shoftim when they Kesef Micha. It's also an Egel.
That's right.
Kesef. And
That's
later Yoram makes
two places to serve God. Exactly. One in Beit El, the other in Dan.
Copy the ark basically. And that's what I say.
Very nice, very nice. Rabbi Yehuda Levi also talks about a similar idea. I want to bring another idea, and the question is, why two? Yes, your question?
You just see where the Rambam says this?
The Rambam says that the principle of faith, that we believe in prophecy, is instrumental in the making of the Cherubim, that it appears like malachim. The image, the facial image of the Cherubim, the cherubites, are like angels, to show us that prophecy comes to our world through angels. That's what the Rambam writes in the Moreh Nevuchim, book 3, chapter 45. We've yet, though, to answer question, why are there two Cherubim? Why two? Isn't one enough? So now we'll use, following our say, you know why? Let's hear your theory.
So the angels is like the bridge between Hashem and like other people. So it has to be between two, Hashem and the people.
You need two to tangle, huh? Very nice. Well, let's dance right after the shur, and then we'll show how two tangle. An idea that the Nefesh HaChaim, Rav Chaim of Volozhin, from the line of students from the Vilna Gaon, he says in the Nefesh HaChaim, following Chazal, the Talmud says, I was looking, I had an excerpt, I don't know where I put it, maybe I left it in the kitchen this morning. Terrible. The Talmud says, do you know that during Aliyah L'Regel, when Jews would come up to the pilgrimage, they would come into the area of the Kodesh, and they would move the what?
Okay.
The parochet, very good, Michal Aryeh, that separates between what and what?
The Kodesh Kodeshim.
The Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKodeshim. They would move the curtain, and people that came up for the festival, they would observe and see, wow, Ufneihem Ish El Achiv. It's like Ish El Achiv is representing the love, the harmony between God and Israel. So one of the Cherubim, as if was a masculine form, The other was a feminine form. And just like the highest level of love between a husband and wife is probably at a wedding, so too the Mishkan, or the building of the Mishkan, the inauguration of the Mishkan later on, will be compared or made similar to a chatuna between a chatan and kala. So the two kruvim, if there's really harmony amongst Am Yisrael, then the kruvim are looking at one another like a husband to a wife. And that would be a great level. But if there would be not surprise, it would be a lack of surprise, and they would see that they're not looking at one another, even though they're made out of metal. Their faces would look at one another. But there would be times that their faces would not look at one another when they made the pilgrimage, and that would be a sign that we have to go back and correct our situation. We have to give more respect to our fellow members of Israel. Okay? So the dumut, the figure, according to the Nefesh HaChaim, is like a zachar and a keva, and that would explain that there's love between God and Israel when the kruvim are looking at one another. Okay? Do you understand that? When we're concerned for one another, then there's going to be Shekhinah. But if we don't care for one another, if we don't listen to one another, we're not willing to give our time, or we see someone, he's down, he has a problem, he's depressed. If we just go through our day and we know maybe we can, at least, Shalom, I see you're not feeling well today. Can I do something for you? Can I assist you? Come on, get out of it. Maybe let's take a walk together. Let's walk to the park. Let's maybe jog or something. Okay? There's always something we can do and take responsibility for a fellow Jew. So from here, ish el achiv. If one guy cares for another one, then there's going to be Shechina. To wrap this up, gentlemen, we come to the ultimate objective, as the Ramban says, the last verse of our section, Pasuk Kaf Bet, verse 22. After we say in the form of Pasuk, when you made the Aron, you made the Kaporet, you made the Kruvim, well, before you put it on, what do you place inside? It says the end of 21, V'el ha'aron titen et ha'edut. Into the Aron, you're going to give the testimony. Which one? Asher etein elecha. This commandment is happening prior to... Excellent. Say it out loud.
Prior to the giving of the report.
Very good. Moshe Rabbeinu was up for 40 days. He's being told by God to write in the Sefer Torah the mitzvah of the building of the Mishkan with all the materials. And when he gets to the final instructions, an Aron, Kaporet, and the Kruvim, you know what you're going to put in there? What I'm going to give you. The two Luchot HaBrit. He hasn't given him there. Now, let me ask you something. If there are no Luchot, is there value to the Aron HaKodesh? I repeat my question. If we don't have the two tablets, the two stone tablets, the two Luchot HaBrit, is there or not value to the Aron? Without an Aron HaKodesh, without Luchot HaBrit, there's no value to the Aron. Do you understand, gentlemen? We have two mitzvot here. We have the mitzvah of making the kli. But there's no action with the two luchot. But there has to be luchot inside the Aron HaKodesh. Without, in the Aron, if there's no Aron, we have the Aron, we have no two luchot HaBrit, we don't have the function of an Aron HaBrit.
So you would buy Coke without a bottle?
That's right. In Bayit Sheni, in the second temple, already in the first temple, the Luchot were put into Geniza, Yoshiyahu HaMelech, a fear of the king of Assyria coming in, destroying the temple, taking away the most cherished things that the Jewish people have. So already the two Luchot HaBrit were put into Geniza, into hiding. And therefore, when after we came back to the building of the second temple, they did not build an Aron. They did not build an Aron. In other words, the other Kalim we're going to be learning about, Shulchan, Menorah, okay? You can have a Shulchan without the bread. We're going to build a Shulchan. You can build a Mizbeach Ketoret, an incense offering, even if, God forbid, we don't have those Bisamim. We don't have the spices. But we can't have an Aron without the Luchot. There's no value to it.
No, they are ready to get the Luchot. They're here, the Luchot come, we put them in.
So we're talking here that in the second temple, for instance, when we didn't have it, we didn't build an Aron. We put on the floor, the Kohen Gadol would put on the floor the korbanot, the blood they would bring, where the area would be in between the two staffs, the two sticks. So the Aron has to have the Luchot HaBrit. The finale, the last pasuk, verse 22, V'no'adeti lechasham v'dibarti itcha mi'al hakaporet. Where is the meeting place between God and you, Moshe? Sham. Sham is where? In the Holy of Holies. V'dibarti itcha mi'al hakaporet. The God's voice is going to come down above the kaporet. In between what? Mi bein shnei akrovim. Do you see that? Asher l'Aron Eidut. Look at Rashi with me together, please. Verse 22. K'she'ekba mo'ed lecha lidaber imcha. When I'm going to set a time to speak with you, meaning prophecy. Oto makom. That same place. Ekba lemo'ed she'avosham lidaber elecha. So therefore, we see how essential it is that we have the Aron with the Luchot inside. Any questions until here, gentlemen?
Yes.
Please, I'm listening.
Could you go over again the Shita of Ramban versus with the role of the Mishkan?
The prerogative, the objective of the Mishkan, according to the Rambam, as he writes in Hilchot Beit HaBechira, chapter 1, halacha 1, mitzvah, livnot, what is the language? Mizbech kedei lakriv korbanot. He writes there's a mitzvah to build a Beit HaMikdash, muchan lakriv bo korbanot. We need a Beit HaMikdash, or a Mishkan in this case, that's ready to bring korbanot. That's the ultimate objective, korbanot. But according to Ramban, it is God's revelation, God's prophecy to continue the Sinai revelation. I thought I saw something here that I want. Ramban. The second one is Ramban. Yes. Okay. What else did I want to share with you here? Okay. What else? Okay. We're going to stop there as far as this is concerned.